And we are back with our third straight edition of the IU Film Room. As always, appreciate you listening, appreciate you watching, appreciate the feedback that I've received on social media and forums and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you guys commenting, letting me know things you'd like to see, giving me suggestions and feedback and tips, and all those things are super appreciated. So keep them coming, certainly. Unless you want to talk bad about me, then don't keep that coming. No, but in all seriousness, appreciate everything, and just want to talk about the game today with Stanford. I thought it was a much better effort for the Hoosiers, especially in the offensive end, than we saw against Texas. And a couple things I'm going to dive into is that I thought the screening was much better today. I thought the simple plays were much better, and I thought IU did a great job of just taking what the defense gave them, something we didn't really see just 24 hours ago. So was really excited to see those things, really excited to share some of these clips with you guys. So without further ado, let's dive into that first clip. So the first clip we're going to dive into here is actually on the defensive end, and I want you to watch Trey Galloway because I feel like the play he made here and just how he's active, his head is on a swivel on the defensive end is beyond his fourth game as a freshman. You would think that it was more than that. Another thing that I want to talk to you about as well is right now we see Galloway here, we see Armond Franklin here. Something we haven't seen a lot from Indiana do, especially under Archie Miller, is switching off the ball. But what you're going to see is you're going to see Stanford set a down screen here. Essentially, Armand and Galloway are going to switch that screen there, which is something we haven't seen Indiana do much of at all, switching off the ball. So there's your switch right there. Armand stays outside. Galloway stays towards the block. But what I want you to watch here now is Galloway sees that Trace is on this guy's hip. He's probably beat, but Galloway does a nice job of just sliding in here, getting himself set, and taking a charge for the Hoosiers, and really kind of helps set the tone for the team and for the game. So really like that. Like I said, a play that you don't see a lot of freshmen make in their third or fourth game. So great to see from Trey Galloway, and it kind of helps set the tone for Indiana on the defensive end. If you watched my film room yesterday, I kind of pointed out that a fatal flaw for Indiana on the offensive end was their ability to set good screens. A lot of their screens looked kind of lazy. They weren't really hitting anybody on the screens. So a couple things on this clip that I want to point out. First of all, I really like the set from Archie. It's a back screen, and then it's two different double screens. But Race Thompson setting a good screen on the last double screen is essentially what helps get him open, even though he's the one setting the screen and able to make a bucket here. So we're going to run this. Like I said, you're going to see a back screen from Trace here. He's going to set a back screen, and then you're going to see a couple double screens happen from Race and Trace. That we'll go ahead and run the clip. So there's your first set of back screens. Go ahead and get that line off the screen for you. But there's your first set of back screens. Now you're going to see your next set of back screens. So watch Trace's screen here. Boom. This is a really, really nice screen from Race. Excuse me. Race sets a great screen there. Frees up Armand. So what does that do? How does that get Race open? So now, as you can see, Race sets a great screen there. So now Race has to hit, or Race's man has to now help on Armand here. Armand has great vision, sees that Race's man is helping, and he's able to hit Race right here for a quick little 8-foot dump off, and Race knocks down two for the Hoosiers. So great set, great job by Race setting a good screen, and he actually got rewarded for setting that good screen by getting 2 points.
When I get a new word, I got to practice it.
On this offensive possession, what I really like is that IU took what the defense gave them, which I don't think we saw a lot in the Texas game. And so on this possession in particular, as we run the clip here, see Trace is going to set two different down screens. So now, one thing I want to note is the spacing here. So they're trying to get Trace Jackson Davis the ball. Best thing you can do when you're trying to get your big man the ball is if you can clear out that weak side. So right now, Stanford is trying to three-quarter front Trace in the post. Galloway realizes that from this angle, probably not a good pass to make. But by Armond staying high here, Finney staying high here, there's really not great help side opportunity for Stanford to come over and help on the backside there. But because there's a three-quarter front, this isn't a good angle for Galloway to make this pass. Something that you'll see teams do a lot is they're going to flash another big to the high post, just like Race does. They're able to throw that ball to Race, as we see here. Now, they're still trying to do this three-quarter front, but now Race has a much better opportunity as I move this whole screen there. Race has a better angle right here. He throws a nice pass to Trace Jackson Davis. Again, the offense is all high, so there's no help side on the backside to come around here and try to steal this pass from Trace. And so ultimately, it's good spacing from IU. It's a good job of taking what the defense gives them. What does it result in? 2 points for Indiana. Another clip of Indiana just taking what the defense gives them. Again, we just didn't see a lot of this free-flowing offense, kind of a read and react offense from Indiana against Texas. Now, granted, I think Texas was a better caliber opponent on the defensive end. However, Stanford's not just some pushover on the defensive end. Indiana has certainly executed better. But this play, for instance, is just it's a simple action. But again, Indiana keeps the ball moving really well. They take what the defense gives them, and it results in a great opportunity for the Hoosiers. So as we roll this clip, we see Trace set a good screen. So now you've got Race. I keep calling Race Trace. That's Race Thompson there. So now his man has to help on Galloway. So what does Galloway do? He sees Race Thompson is open here, so he is going to hit Race Thompson. Race had knocked down a three earlier in the game, so by him being an outside threat, now the man that was guarding Lander is right here, and he's having to help on Race, and Race does a great job of quickly rotating the basketball over to Lander. Lander gets a great opportunity at a three, and he buries it. Just really good offense. It seems simple, but great offense from the Hoosiers to get a good look, to try to get one of their. This next action we're actually going to have two clips of because I ran this play two different times for Trace Jackson Davis. It's been a staple of Archie's the last couple years. They've run it every single game so far this season. But basically what this play is Trace is going to go set a cross screen for a guy that is ultimately going to end up in the corner here that's going to receive a pass. And then the guy that was in this corner is now going to do a screen-to-screener action, and he's going to screen Trace's guy, and Trace is going to duck in underneath. So as we run this clip, you're going to see Galloway go into the corner. So Galloway catches in the corner. You see Armond is now here to set a cross screen on Trace's man. And then with that cross screen action, Trace is able to pop open underneath the basket where he wants the ball. As you see here, it's cross screen, good pass, good screen. He gets fouled. He goes to the line shooting two. So 8 minutes later in game action, Archie liked what he saw the first time the Hoosiers ran this, so he decides he's going to run it again. This time you're going to see Leal's going to go to the opposite corner. It's still Armond Franklin setting the cross screen. Again, screening is huge for IU, able to get good opportunities. Armond sets a great screen, and what does it result in? Let's watch. Great screen by Armond. Dunk for Trace. So just really good execution, but again, it all hinders on screening well. And Armond Franklin set great screens there, and Trace was able to get a dunk. So I pointed out at the top of this in my intro that I love the way that Armond Franklin played. I tweeted it out earlier this afternoon right after the game that, yes, Trace Jackson Davis was the MVP of this game, but it was kind of a coming out party for Armond Franklin. I thought he did a lot of really, really good things. He scored in double digits, had 8 or 9 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, he was a stat stuffer today. But this play in transition in particular, again, it's something so simple, and you might be like, well, why are you even showing this on film room? But it's so important to a good basketball team. So, A, Armond is able to push in transition, which is a huge thing. But B, when he pushes in transition, the one thing that you want to do, so if you're trying to get Finney open in that corner, you have to drive at the man that is taking Finney away. So you drive at him. As soon as he lunges towards you, you're able to kick, and Finney's got a wide open look. Again, it's a super simple action, not rocket science, but basketball is a simple game. So Armond drives at Finney's guy, wide open look, simple driving kick, and IU gets a good shot in rhythm. That's the main thing. So a lot of people talk about IU can't shoot, they can't shoot, they can't shoot. Well, a lot of their three-point shots aren't in any sort of rhythm. That's a great look in rhythm, just like the shot with Lander was a couple clips back, and lo and behold, IU knocks him down. So great to see, love that from Armond Franklin. So a couple things about this clip that I want to point out. Number one is that I like the spacing on this play. So actually, I'll run this play a few different times and tell you a few different things that I like about it. Number one thing I like about this is on this ball screen right now, we see that Finney's going to come off this ball screen. Trace is setting this ball screen. Finney's got all of this space to operate with only his man guarding him. Which is huge. That's what they would call this a triple gap. Basically, when basketball coaches talk about gaps, there's single gaps, which a single gap would be like Race Thompson here and then a guy here. That would be a single gap between them. Race Thompson and a guy here. This space between them would be called a double gap. But really, the biggest lanes to be able to drive in would be between Race Thompson and Finney here. All of that space there, that's called a triple gap. That's what offensive guru coaches, their mouth waters over those things that are like triple gaps. So first and foremost, I love the spacing on this play. It yields a lot of opportunities for IU. I thought another thing I'd point out in the Texas game was IU's had poor spacing. This wasn't the case on this play. Something else I want to point out. So Rob Finney just got a 3 in rhythm a couple possessions prior. So now he's feeling pretty good about himself, and he's able to receive this screen from Trace Jackson Davis, and now he's in a good rhythm, catches, rises, fires, knocks it down. If Armond did not get Rob involved a couple plays earlier in transition, Rob probably doesn't knock this shot down. And then the last thing I want to talk about, because it's something I harped on in the Texas game, is Trey sets a good screen here. He hits somebody, and again, it's not rocket science. You hit somebody on the screen, you get guys open, they're able to knock down shots. Great to see for the Hoosiers. So this set here that Archie ran, I like because it sets up similar spacing as the last action. So we're going to see a Race Thompson screen away from the ball, and then you're going to see Armond curling around basically this dribble handoff, which basically is a ball screen around Trace Jackson Davis, and he's going to have a lot of space. But what I really like about this is the spacing that Armond gets. So Armand's coming off of that dribble handoff with Trace. Now, again, he's got this triple gap of all of this space that he now has this entire side of the floor to operate. And you've got a shooter in the corner, so if he drives at this man, there's a lot of things that can happen. He can kick to Leal for a 3. He can kick to Leal, and this is going to be a long closeout, and Leal can drive by to the baseline. There's a lot of good things that can happen out of this action. And one thing I didn't even mention is a pull-up jumper for Armond Franklin knocks down a tough shot. But those last two clips I showed you, I just want to show you that IU has the capability to have really good spacing. Archie has the sets in his arsenal to have really good spacing, so they just need to utilize them more. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Trace's lob dunk he got on a baseline out of bounds play. One of the reasons that this is able to work so well, because this play will work again sometime through this season, probably 2 or 3 more times, but it's able to work so well because IU runs all of their baseline out of bounds actions that are 4 low. So this line right here, everything they do is 4 low. Sometimes Trace is going to pop out here. They're going to throw to him and run a flex action with Armond and Leal. Sometimes they're going to run that little dribble handoff action where Trace will pop, Race will set a down screen, and then Lander will come around here on a dribble handoff. So there's a lot of different things they can do out of this, and it's why this lob is successful. So all this play is it's Trace going to set a screen on Race's guy, Race curling around here, and then Leal's going to set a screen on Race's guy or on Trace's guy, and Trace can curl around for a lob. So it's not like this earth-shattering action or anything of that sort. It's a basic screen-to-screener. Teams have been running that type of baseline out of bounds for many of generations, but because IU masks everything in a 4-low set, it makes this play able to work.
Or the echo pedal on the beam over the top.
And that's just that's a all-American dunk right there. I mean, that's a guy that's going to be playing in the league for a long time. So really like the set, but overall, very much enjoyed watching IU's offensive performance today versus against Texas. Now against Texas, they got some good looks that they just missed point blank shots, but I thought the spacing was better today. I thought the flow of the offense was better today. And more so than anything, I thought the screening was better. When IU sets good screens, they get good looks. And overall, 2-1 in Maui. I've seen worse performances from Indiana teams in Maui, so um, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's not many cupcakes left for Indiana, so they're going to be tested early. They're going to be tested often, and we're going to be able to see what this team's made of. But overall, I think Maui was a pretty large success. But that Texas game, you better believe that it'll be brought back up the second that IU goes on another scoring drought. Twitter will be on fire, and I'll be part of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm tired of seeing bad offense, and I tweeted this today. It's performances like this against Stanford that actually make drive coaches mad because you know what the team's capable of, and then when you see them what they gave against Texas, it's like, how is that even the same team? So that's the type of stuff that drives me mad when you see how you come out the next day and just perform at a completely different level without one of their starting guards. It's like, okay, come on, guys, like you got it in you. So that part can be frustrating, but overall, a success for Indiana. Overall, really appreciate you making it this far in this IU film room. I'm gonna take a break. It's been 3 straight days of these film rooms in the evenings. I love doing them. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be nice on my Thursday evening to just kind of relax a little bit and not dive into IU basketball. But I'll be back and I'll be ready for the next game. So appreciate you watching. As always, please like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you need to do. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.